First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Well, we're going to be, after a very chilly day yesterday, it's going to be pretty nice today.
You know, I couldn't believe it. I took the, so last night was recyclables. I'm walking them out, literally goosebumps, legs, arms, neck, head to toe covered in goosebumps because it must have been 48, 49 degrees when I took the recyclables out. It felt like a fall night.
It was cold.
Middle of June.
But actually, last night I thought kind of warmed up just so the sun came out a little bit last night, and I was kind of okay with last night.
Yeah.
Well, this was after the sun had gone down.
It was cold. Yeah. I tried to watch a little of the game outside, and it was too cold to sit outside and watch. Anyway,
also, it was too cold for the Mets to get any hits last night, other than that one that they got.
All I can say, which was a pinch hit pitcher. And it was a bloop infield hit that he beat out because the third baseman could not, or shortstop, whichever it was, could not make the play. That was the only hit. But I got to tell you something. The Mets are so beaten up, it's finally catching up with them. I mean, they're pinching yesterday. Two pitchers had to bat yesterday. It's bad. It's really, really bad.
It seems like every other night they get shut out. Yeah, it is rough. I think they got McNeil back last night. Although they lost Stroman. You know, Stroman left after one inning.
Is it McNeil or Conforto? One of them was supposed to come back last night and didn't come back because of a COVID issue in Syracuse.
I didn't see that, but I did see McNeil was at the game. I did see that.
All right, so we'll get into that. Also, who makes the contests up and the PR at Syracuse University?
That's horrible.
I mean, what a horrible hint. I mean, give me a break.
Why don't
you just announce he's coming?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the only question in this is, will it be Elton John alone or Elton John and Billy Joel? Because back in the 2000s because they say this performer performed back in the 2000s in the Dome. Early 2000s, Elton John and Billy Joel played the Carrier Dome.
Together?
They did a duel. They were doing that a lot. They were doing it, I think a couple times they played the
in
Dome.
Albany, they did it.
Yeah. They were doing dual headliners. And the question will be here, will it be Elton John and Billy Joel or just Elton John?
Yeah, it's it's so funny. I thought that was the announcement because the little description.
Yeah, they gave it all up.
That somebody put out there.
Yeah.
The E is Elton John's logo. There's no surprise there. They totally
it could be Engelbert Humperdinck. We're not sure yet.
Or Eagles.
I'm looking into it. Could it be the Eagles? The Eagles have never played the Dome, so. It could also be Enrique Rodriguez, who is a Latin performer. Who does the song, the big hit, Hola, Buenos Dias, Hola, which is a bit repetitive, but he's a big star.
And he covers Come Como Va.
That too, yeah. Report out saying that Americans enrolled in Medicaid grew sharply during the pandemic. Big surprise there. Tanya G. Powers is standing by right now. Tanya, good morning.
Good morning. Listen, Elton is coming up there. If I can't get tickets here, I'm coming up there to see him. I'm telling you.
Well, and I have big news for you. The Carrier Dome, legendary Carrier Dome in Syracuse, now has, for the first time since its existence, when it opened in 1980, the Carrier Dome now has air conditioning, which is so ironic when you think about it.
It is. It's like the National Grid building, the National Grid Civic Center.
Yeah,
does not have electricity.
Yeah,
that's literally what it's like.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. How could Carrier, which makes air conditioners, but again, it is what it is. But it now has air conditioning. So otherwise, that dome used to get so hot during the big shows. And
I would imagine.
Yeah, but it is what it is. So, all right. Any surprise that this story is out that Medicaid is up tremendously since the pandemic?
No, I don't. I mean, I wasn't real shocked when I saw these numbers. And by
Yeah.
the way, these numbers are coming from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. They say that nearly 10 million people enrolled in Medicaid coverage between February of 2020 and January of this year. It's important to note that January is like the cutoff for the time period that they have stats for right now. That's an 14% increase. That means, as of January, a record high number of us, 80 million, were enrolled in Medicaid and CHIP, which is the Children's Health Insurance Program.
Okay.
They do attribute this largely to the pandemic because they actually, if you look at previous, financial downturns, like in 2009, at the beginning of the Great Recession, fewer than 4 million Americans joined Medicaid during that time. This obviously is different because it's a pandemic. There are other health concerns that weren't present during the Great Recession. And that may be one of the reasons that, more people have, signed up for that this time rather than, in previous downturns.
Mm-hmm. I think that, obviously we've seen the same thing with unemployment and with people out of work. Exactly the job loss thing. Adult enrollment grew twice as quickly in Medicaid as child enrollment last year. Okay.
So that, suggests that was, may have been related to job losses and, a lot of newly eligible adults who found themselves without insurance.
Right. Okay. I guess I'm not overly surprised by this, but this becomes a big burden along with as we're trying to make some sort of a recovery during this post-pandemic as everything begins to open back up. We look at that burden on the economy.
Yeah, it's something to definitely watch, especially as hopefully the job numbers improve, steadily and then don't have hopefully not another downturn. That was terrible for so many people and still is. The
irony, the people that work at this Medicaid facility, they are trying to get through all the paperwork, but can't because there's such a shortage in employees there. It seems like that is the storyline everywhere. Sorry, we can't take care of you because we have a shortage of employees. It's a crazy world we're in right now.
Yeah, it is.
All right, Tanya, thank you so much. You have a wonderful day.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Tanya J.
And we
Powers.
hope to see you for the big concert.
That's big.
Oh, if you want, we should all go. Maybe the WIBX and Tanya crew going to see Elton.
Okay, I'm sure.
I would totally come up for that. I'm not joking. I would absolutely come up for that. That would be the best field trip ever.
It really would be.
For me to be that person that sings along with all of the songs. So I just need to tell you that on the front end.
Nothing wrong with that. And I have to say that the one thing about the Carrier Dome, I keep calling it the Carrier Dome. Has Carrier been dropped, or we still?
I don't know.
No, I think it's still
the Carrier Dome.
Yeah.
The one thing, it's so large. The acoustics are so bad in there. You got to make
good
sure
seats.
You have to have good seats. Otherwise, you're hearing an echo off the reverb off another echo.
Although it'd be
the sound
interesting
could
to
be
see
rough.
if they truly did improve that with the new renovation.
They said the sound is improved, so we'll see. Okay, Tanya, thank you so much.
Sure, thanks.
Tanya J. Powers, in the future, coming up here to see Elton John. If it is Elton, it'd be awful if she got here and it was Engelbert.
What if it's the E-Star Band?
The E-Star Band.
He's currently in a lawsuit over a logo with Elton John.
Maybe they're trying to trick everybody, and it's actually the return of the E Street Band with Bruce Springsteen.
I think so.
I mean, that'd be possible, right? Didn't he leave the band for a while? The band left the band behind for a little while.
Right.
I doubt it, though.
Yeah.
How about the Secret Service? During the height of coronavirus, over 900 or nearly 900 Secret Service members had contracted coronavirus.
How many?
900.
Oh, my.
I don't know how many there are, but that seems like that's a pretty good chunk out of the agency that keeps the president safe.
Yeah. Dude, is the suspicion that it all started because of that little ride around the block and the Trump vehicle?
Well, remember that? I don't
started
know.
with one.
I don't know that there is any suspicion on what single thing caused it. We've talked about this with the pitchers being checked. Max Scherzer had a real to-do last night. Did you see his video?
No.
Oh, he flipped out. And Joe Girardi, who's now the manager for the Phillies, So I wanted him checked because he had suspicion, wanted him checked again. Scherzer threw his hands up in the air, started flailing around. He was yelling, undoes his belt, looked like he was going to drop his pants right there on the mound.
Oh, man.
And then he's staring down Joe Girardi in the dugout. Girardi comes out, who's no spring chicken. Girardi comes out and says, "You want to fight me?" And they started going back and forth. Yeah. I think Girardi got kicked out of the game.
Yeah, despite the fact that he was a one-time Yankee and then the manager, I actually really do like Joe Girardi.
Yeah.
I would love him to be the manager of my team. I'll tell you this, too. I heard somebody making a point yesterday. In fact, it was the Yankee broadcaster, Michael Kay. And he was saying that it's a complete insult to walk up and just check a guy like Jacob deGrom or to check on some of these other pitchers. Also, there was a situation, I believe, the first night that they were checking that a pitcher gave up 4 runs in an inning, and on his way off the mound, they said they wanted to check his hand and the bill of his cap or something, and he said, "It's an absolute embarrassment. Why you would disgrace a guy like Jacob deGrom that way? Why are you checking pitchers after they gave up a home run?" Look, guys were using the only steroid tests they did weren't only the top 5 guys on the home run list. They randomly tested all the guys in the league. That's how you do it fair. So if a guy gives up a run, so if there's a guy using it, let's say it was Garrett Cole, there's a lot of speculation about him.
Right.
Are we saying he's never given up a run ever when he's using spider tack? He's never given up a run. So anytime someone gives up a run, you can't check him. I just thought it was the most insane argument in the world.
Well,
and Jacob deGrom, frankly, should be tested. His ERA is .5. He's one of the best pitchers the game has ever seen. Check him so that you can cross him off the list.
But they'll continue to check him, and they do it more than once in a game because they think it's kind of like when you're driving along and you slow down just in time for that speed check on the highway, and then there's another one down the road, and you don't think there's going to be, so you pound out the pedal. Mm-hmm.
Speaking from experience,
the same thing. Yeah, there's always a police officer on the other end. And then the problem is here too. Is that they're checking people, and right now we're paying attention to it. They're checking pitchers. At some point, it'll become old hat, or we'll just stop doing it, and nobody's going to pay attention. Like deGrom kind of smiled when they were doing it. And boom, 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 they do a quick check, and he's on his way. Scherzer turned it into a whole event, and that's the problem. That's what's slowing the game down. He's flipping out. He's upset. You got Joe Girardi coming out of the dugout. That's what we're paying attention to. But in reality, it's like anything else, right?
It is. It's like anything else. And, remember the whole Astros thing with the sign stealing, right? And they have all this evidence that they cheated, and I don't doubt that they did.
Right.
But it's like putting up a highlight reel or a low-light reel of every strikeout they had in the playoffs. And, look, they couldn't be cheating. He struck out.
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works.
Right.
You win some, you lose some, but you're probably cheating every step along the way, even when you strike out or even when you give up a home run. Anyway. It just set me. I was so annoyed. Yes, what a bad day I had yesterday.
Mike, with a couple of comments here. Theme song for checking pitchers for substances on the ball should be Elvis Presley's "Suspicious Minds." The umpires have suspicious minds, and maybe the E stands for Elvis. Oops. He's left the building, or has he?
I'm still alive, baby.
Or has he? Da 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 da. Let's see. Dave in Boonville. Okay, here we go. Good morning, David. You're on the radio.
Yeah, I like to say the part of the reason why that people are died because of COVID-19 because Trump didn't wear masks. Because Trump didn't wear masks, and he's showing all his people who like Trump not to wear masks.
Okay, so you think that's what did it?
Oh, because Trump, remember how Trump lied? That's all going to be gone by Easter?
Yeah, I do remember that.
And it was a lie.
And it didn't go away by Easter. It was crazy. I was sitting there waiting, and it didn't go away. Yeah, all right, so that's why you think the Secret Service agents all got it, David.
Well, yeah. Some of them probably were, not all of them, but some are Trump. They voted for Trump.
Yeah. And then they got it.
People voted for Joe Biden or Clinton.
Right.
Well, I don't understand why it matters who they voted for.
It amazes me why they voted for Clinton. But again, they probably had COVID and were a little, heavy fever or something, and we're kind of confused. But yeah, that's
like Dave this morning.
That's a good point, David. Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
You have a great day. Well, you live and learn every morning. I've learned something already this morning. Here it is, not even 7 o'clock.
Imagine that, though.
And I've learned something.
If we could figure out who got COVID based on how they
did, what they did.
Yeah, because I wouldn't peg you as a Trump voter, but obviously you got the virus.
I did.
You must have pulled his lever.
I did. That's where I got it from.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me.